today, the 2nd of July, 2020. One can discuss the current state of affairs, na Salone, and waiting they happen inside Chadi. And because we don't see a lot of tweets they come up from them, we know say we trust Chadi in giving us the kind of information we want. So we get for come with Abdul Fatoma from Chadi. In go come and get an engagement. And yourself, if you want to ask question, they give you question in our Facebook. Just ask question, type and day, and we go see how we go carry on with that. But now make we corona updates as we can always do. Today the 2nd. Now so the numbers them look like na Salone. 363 tests was conducted. 363 tests was conducted. And out of that 363, 20 na been positive case. 20 positive case. And this 20 if we want to break them down by district, now so the number they look like. Bo District 2, Cambia 1, Karene 4, Kenema 1, Potloko 2, Western Area Rural 7, Western Area Urban 3. And this 9 give we a total of 20. However, remember the last district we forget coronavirus na Salone na be Karene. And then they be happen for them on the 27th of June, where they be get 2 cases. The 2nd of July, when 5 days later, now they don't get 4 positive cases. 4 positive cases, now they don't get now. Imagine, Kayene when have been 2. Now they start with. Now they don't get a total of 6. So what's really going on in Sierra Leone? Because for Western Area Urban and Western Area Rural, those guys are the champion. But this coronavirus premier, they are the champion with the numbers then. But make we continue. The confirmed cases down at Salone reach 1,518. 1,518 confirmed cases from the 31st of March. We'll get to first case to date. We don't get 1,518 people we don't test positive na Salone. Out of that 1,518 people in there, 451 currently in an isolation center, they respond to treatment. 451. For the past 24 hours, we get 8 recoveries. 8 recoveries now we get. And the people now, we don't recover. We don't beat COVID-19 na Salone. Now 1,007. 1,007. Remember, it come out from that 1,518 numbers. For the past 24 hours, nobody no lost in life to COVID-19. Where we still stand at 60 people we don't lost their life to COVID-19 na Salone. But for the past 24 hours, nobody no lost in life. The one that they're in quarantine right now 1,665, and the one them we don't discharge from quarantine now 7,499. So the corona numbers them look like today na Salone. From where them begin conduct tests inside Salone to date, 12,496 tests has been conducted. 12,496 tests has been conducted. But however, not forget to say, right now, the active case search is on. Where then tell we say, then go the average rating 400. When for the active case search no more, then the normal one way then they do, go they carry on. Still yet, we still not reach 408 on we daily test all the conduct, because remember yesterday they don't tell we say then they merge the active and the normal one way they can do. Today what we get na 363. Don't forget, people they hope say daily then go they give you updates. We I begin for request that, but then don't tell we say they're not go able to give you daily updates anymore. But now then go they give you waiting weekly updates. Now then go they give you. Well, we wait for the first weekly on way then get for GUI. Then from there, now we go able really know how this active case search done they go. When they come to a program proper today, as I've been telling you earlier, we get Abdul Fatoma from Campaign for Human Rights Development International. There with we want can discuss things where they go on naturally, things where they go on at the country, and we say the Abdul Fatoma one for help for enlightening we, make we get more ideas, make we bring and come on board. Welcome to Sierra Network again, Abdul Fatoma from Chadi.
Thank you very much for having me, Mr. Triple A.
The last time we get you now, it's been a while small, so we don't get you again. But before I make you give you an update between the gap from the time we get you to now, we just want to ask, our constitution, our right, how is that going, sir?
It's still going on because we get now a stakeholder engagement to that. If you people the way we watch the past press conference with president and civil society leader, that'll be one of my key interest question to the president and the cabinet. So I'm waiting the president be promise to make the AG put together, the necessary mechanism for let COVID, no COVID, let them reactivate, the constitutional review process. And the AG, as usual, they promise the president and the civil society leaders that will be present, say, then we'll do immediately after the treason trial end. So thank God, we are almost towards the end tail of this treason trial. The verdict come out yesterday. So we looking forward, if appeal day after the appeal process end, then definitely we put a closing door on that. So however, we be not moving from other stage from the awareness raising to stakeholder engagement, and we get for come back to the awareness raising where we will start bombarding the jingle again, on that. Because now most jingle known as radio is all about, we all know say COVID-19 don't come, coronavirus na killer, something like that. So bringing in something like that and for communication engagement will be seized a bit. But definitely, as the country they try for reopen back with the resources we get, we think about for do, the engagement based on the available resources.
Yes, the engagement based on the available resources. We go come to that one day again, towards the end, make we awakening people their appetite back, say that GoFundMe page, close, is still there. So if we still feel, say, where I think, say, it's very necessary, our constitutional right, make we push this one continuously till our voices are being heard, I think, but we will come to that one day. You say right now, waiting they go on, coronavirus is a killer, coronavirus. From Chad's point of view, how is the fight against coronavirus going on, sir?
Well, the persistent excuse from government say the coronavirus fight it is by country. Every country getting own dynamics as to how then they approach the fight. And so then get their own approach, they no one for copy and paste. But you see say in some certain arguments them the same international best practice where they try for this one, then they also borrow, some of the experience from that international practice from other countries, because the use of face masks now a universal thing now. It's a global accepted thing. The social distancing is a global accepted thing. The closure of, large public gathering now be a universal accepted norms, for fight this COVID. But when it comes to certain things where everybody getting your way how for do one, we all know say the COVID attack not only on health crisis, it attack the economic well-being of all nations, the way the COVID entered. Then it also helped to create, rapid job unemployment, for so many categories of people, not only young people. But as a country where with statistics on unemployment from politicians to other people, it range up to 70%. Then you see that say the COVID now can help for close the entertainment centers, and some of the entertainment centers, not all, and also the tourism sector, like the the traveling industry, the airline, that you come to the hotels, you come to the guest house. So the use of guest house and hotel facilities, they were turned into quarantine centers or neither holding centers, and that redundant people. But, the things that we make we as a nation for be a poorer nation, COVID just can add on top of when one corruption, and two insufficient infrastructural program, and inadequate civil rights, like with human rights issues, and lack of education. When you look at them things they are, then COVID can add on top. You see the reason why, when you really just read the statistics, like Karina, for example, when we start now this country, we start with index case 1, then by the time we wake up to the other week, we start going rapid. We've been the BNB per death rate within the Manual River Union, just Manual River Union. Today we are leading, possibly so. And, if we know the first, we go the second on that one. And then you look at you can argue, say, more people than they recover, more people than they discharge. But then you look at the Western area where you go, get a common belief or understanding, say, now that we get most of the educated people and people that we understand. But then now that we get, more cases. That probably the least side and one thinks a lesser exposure day. We see other countries, they use education as a strong weapon for fight COVID. But then because of the lack of education, where COVID comes, it can make situation become worse. Some people know no less than this country. Now, lack of understanding, lack of knowledge. When it's absent, then it becomes you perceive somebody being arrogant, being lawless. But not because
I want only on that. I want only on that. That statement there. Some people not lawless, not just because of lack of understanding. Break and down for we get this understanding where you try to explain.
All right. Okay. Some people get the knowledge, say, COVID-19, something they like a COVID-19, but they don't get the understanding how dangerous is COVID-19. You will be knowledgeable about something, but then, get the understanding about something. For understand one thing, then forget the knowledge is another thing. So, because of that lack of education, we know they intensify with education. The sad thing about this country, when two popular radio stations or two TV station or one, hear the jingle maybe 2-3 times. They say they're all over the radio station, failing that some of the radio stations and the TV stations, they know they cover this country nationwide. Then some communities and some people they get a different favorite radio station. So the one that way they in charge of educating the people then for ensure say each community able for reach, each radio station able for reach, each TV station, then go able for reach there. Then go down to community level, engage the town criers, engage the key lead people then. But when we look at things naturally in this country now, for the past 15 years now, or for the past 10 to 15 years, we look at issues now on regional basis, on political party basis, on school, basis, or even you and my own brother. But the fact that you hang out with people the way the opposite side of me, you are not trusted to pass any positive information, even in the interest of everybody in the country or in the interest of everybody in that community. And so this lack of understanding don't hamper we, for live as a country. Other countries, like I've been trying to say, now they say they put more money, on infrastructure things so that the country will grow as part of the post-COVID, approach. Some other countries, they try to fight corruption at this stage for ensure that a post-COVID meet them. But the huge challenge comes in. COVID meets, with a struggle with civil rights issues, human rights issues. Then when COVID come back, it can impose, an artificial, an indefinite human rights or civil rights abuses on or restriction, like probably for the measures of these things, and whatever we say, no, she don't know for 3 days for the measures. In order for protect, life and livelihoods, for save life and protect livelihoods. Then whatever we say, now we put on face masks. If we not put on, we not go enter. So sign or wash your hand, and these are uncomfortable things. But because of, the measures for save and protect life, for save life and protect livelihood, we're going to be subject to things that, will for not be an optional thing for you in normal life. Then, the curfew, like, from 6 o'clock to down to 11 o'clock. At first, there's somebody want for dinner at 24 hours. We still get areas the way get barriers, not for past the, some people they're not able to use their vehicle them for past the. These are all the restrictions because why? We get the state of emergency. So, like all of them in there. But the factors that really we make, we as a country, we still continue for struggle. Now then 4 sectors and then, when I put so, because when I talk about civic rights, the justice issue also they into it.
I want Oluanda first before we come to that civic right. When this fight against COVID starts and when the regulations here begin come out, there was an undertone from different stakeholders. Say, right now, the human rights people are not talking to the human rights people. Then you feel say now after people they don't break laws them where they don't put, when they come after them, then go can begin speak for the people in right. What about right now for make them adhere to the COVID-19 regulations them where they don't put? Human rights people are not there. They are not seeing you guys. So within you go want for respond to a stakeholder where they say this statement?
Well, some people they are more interested in a catchy negative news than positive thing. Like we, for example, Chadi, when we go with press release, we always highlight citizens' responsibility and states, obligations, and also the state obligation of protect the right of the citizens and ensure that, say, the welfare and well-being is highly protected, and fairly treated as people. And then the citizens will always put up a message to them, say, they get a responsibility for ensure, say, the next man in right also be respected. If we want to respect the rule of law, we all therefore join hands together, for respect the process and go through due process. So, but some people not can really look at them catchy words, then they worry very, very negative. Like you will put a very positive thing about society responsibility and state obligation. They're not going to share it. But if you put a message with an embarrassed government or a politician, it's going to be the hot sharing thing on social media. And that moment you become the star boy, the star girl of the day, or the star institution of the day. And then you go see that, say, people jump at that issue with emotions, started saying any kind of negative things about you. If you rape issue for donors Leone, they don't investigate. They just want to see who post that thing, who tweet that information. The next thing is that they'll screenshot it. And later on, even the poster will come and can apologize. They will dare never share that apology anymore. This is just like the kind of things we fix ourselves in as a country. And this become a challenge. So they left the actual issues away for really, really they discuss and talk about. Like a country with a high, a very high transportation cost, small market size, low productivity in agriculture. These are all the situations that we as a country, we should be discussing about. Than attacking personality, attacking institution. Most of these people you see, they run after the same civil society. It's the same civil society we're trouble for now. Where is civil society then? We don't see the too. No one not talk. But this very individual will not be one of the persons say, no civil society, not in a salon. Then these are the very individual then. Maybe one day in a life, you're not supposed civil society. The movement for George Floyd in that one, the US. You see within 24 hours, within 48 hours, there is $4 million. That money not come up from government as stuff for lie. Because they demonstrate against government inability to protect the citizens. So citizens put the money into it and jump at that street and work with the people the way that they put that money there for. But here is not the case. They're going to, say, oh, it is evil society and an evil society. But we're in trouble for them. If some civil society organization had been in at this country, situation would have been worse than the way it is. Even before than now. We continue highlighting issues. Foreign donors then. And then they continue to give support for some programs that we don't feel say align into their ideology and interests. Some of the other things that we they talk about with communities, about with people, these are no money coming from donors. But when you highlight some of these issues in this country, I don't know, then get money. You go check the month from PZ to the village, na Boom Children Bond District. If you don't get that credibility, nobody knows they sit down at that boardroom and approving $1 for pound to UA. So it doesn't matter how long you shout, because people they not get the understanding about how that sector operates. So they just grab and talk, oh, civil society. But like me, for example, I can enjoy that. Because I don't enjoy it, they don't understand. And we have a responsibility for men. And no. And that's the reason why when I can create opportunities there for me, I can really calm down and explain to the people how really it works.
I want all you that quick. I know say they are the in respect to all the other civil society the na salon, can represent them. But however, I want to ask you, the fight against COVID-19 na salon, how involved is the civil society community?
I mean, to a larger extent, majority of the civil society in this country they into it. But the team involved in the fight against COVID, now a resource driven something, and nobody knows it on there and tell you say it's not. Now if you lead a civil society organization, when I did a civil society group, when I not get somebody with a graphic designer or when they design flyers, right? When I get the messages that one I want to put together, but when I want to do e-flyers, that money, you get to pay somebody for let a design and then when I get for share all over social media. Sadly enough, if you not fall in political interest with certain people, most of you post on a day they left. So if you want to let it go round and round and round, either you get for sponsor on a Facebook, or you get for pay people then for let them share, that then different thousand WhatsApp groups then within there. I mean, so majority of the civil society groups then at this country, I'm telling you, they don't get access to donor funding. I mean, that is the credibility. In fact, much credibility not there. But some of them get access to donor funding. But you can see the grassroots one, then they get a passion, they get the interest. But the basis, the threshold, even for letting them get an official registration at this country, it's challenging one for them. But they can get an opportunity through their schoolmates, college mates, when they work at a radio station or television station, or go sit down and talk. But then it's the structural program as to how to engage on things. Then when it comes down, civil society they in a different fields. We have the political civil society activists. We have, for pro or against. Then we have the civil society activists, the liberal ones who are there, who would not go where they got for criticize government, for criticize the opposition, or they have a track record of criticizing the previous administration and still criticizing, the current administration, no matter, how the pressure they on them. But people also know they not get an understanding within the three angles and you get some civil society, their bread and butter is to advocate for who? The government of the day. I mean, their policy, propagating it more than the government mouthpiece or more than even the official ministry responsible for propagating that government policy. Then you get another civil society. They are pro, opposition, civil society mouthpiece. They cannot be at that altar who say they crucify or kill any single soul or any associate of the opposition. They're going to be in higher and stronger defense than even the ideology way them for the stand for as an organization. So we have seen that all in this country. It's a matter of acceptance. Accept these people say, okay, let's show them they accept the other one, and follow. If you want to follow or focus on the other one, the way you go perceive, say they are liberal and follow. So you see, this will begin civil society coalition in this country, where they fight for COVID during the lockdown. We see the effort. I mean, that's a contribution. Nobody can downplay that. They did what they think within their own reach, within the available resources. for them group they're able to do. Then we see like Chadi will make flyers, will make jingle. So you cannot say we not contribute, because the resources where we get, maybe they're from even personally, they will not get any support neither from government or any other external agency because one will not even apply because we know say we're not pro-human rights organization. But when the sector intensify, we know say with human rights, people also get right to education. We develop educational tourism about social distancing, the use of face masks, and if you feel cold, you get cough and what is you for call 117, like those basic things. So we're able to sponsor that, and come out. You get other organizations as well where design e-flyers and show how for use face masks. We get Sludge. Sludge is also civil society, the coalition of journalists, they are part of the media and EU fund them. They continue getting, civil society on the program and then they talk. So you cannot really say, people cannot really say civil society is not there, it's not in the mix. But then, in this country, national issues are not really national issues as literally is supposed to be.
When we talk just now, you talk about the funds then. At one time, we hear about 230 billion loans where the international community say then they give towards NGOs then. And also you the work, now that money they go able for penetrate. Tell me small about this money.
That's even a dream. I mean, like, some of the money that we come, if you go through government get a different agenda as to how, and government get what are the way they think say, like I be saying. Even some of we get registration from the government of Sierra Leone where we recognize for operating in this country. I mean, it's very difficult for really to say you're going to be associated with some government programs when dealing with money, so we, your organization, don't get any clue of that. We don't get any, disclosure of such fund.
Because this money, then we tell we say, the international NGO, they work alongside the local NGOs them. But you don't tell we say, like, for Chadi.
That money they talk about, I mean, this, the Minister for the Economic, the Minister for Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Kakai, I mean, they created an initiative for, asking all the international NGOs we, get money. We want for constitute that money for the fight of COVID. They ask them, say, make them disclose the district them where they want for work. So, Ingo identify, local council, then work with the local NGOs within the community where they operate. The reason why I make do that, when I really ask them, I said, why, this initiative? They tell me, say, during the Ebola crisis, we'll be seeing, the INGOs like Save the Children, Plan International, Concern Worldwide, Goal, Gola Land and the International Red Cross, they be involved in misappropriation of money, maybe some up to something $14 million, something like that. So like they say, they don't want a repeat of that, for this COVID fight. So they try for ask each organization for a disclosure. So when they put all the money to that money the NGOs they get like World Vision and all that. But these organizations and we don't get them planned and then get them the communities where they be don't identify them and then they get the local partners. So when that money they come, I mean it'll be mean for all existing organizations. So the one the way them we know they work with before COVID come. Now, for them, them programs and they've been there already, like World Vision, for example, some of the community health center programs that they've been fund, then just continue for strengthening, on their support, towards that. Like, Usawe, more beds, not be them try for bringing more beds, most of the more PPEs and not be try for get more PPEs, for the frontline workers that then distribute them there. So, I mean, that's not me understanding about that funds way they talk about. But it not be really coming for, every bubu jama within the space.
Okay, I'm glad the way you don't try for break and down for we, so that we go understand, say that particular money, then they say the INGO and the local NGOs, not to foresee a special money we come, where they say, but na, say, una all come, una can't tell where to una get, and usai una they go and make sure, say, una work with local NGOs, then where they if I get you correct, na so it be?
Exactly, sir.
Okay, so moving forward, a lot of things don't happen during the fight against coronavirus. We don't see lockdown upon lockdown. We don't see lifting of inter-district lockdown. We don't see different things then. From the eye of Chadi, waiting really una go like for see right now in enforcement in the fight against COVID-19?
I mean, this came earlier on immediately where they declare state of emergency. And me personally, be post on the Facebook say that, freezing the 1991 Constitution, it's a chilly effect. And you get all the civil society activists and leaders that will be very uncomfortable with that. Waiting until I bring them for camp for further justify what it mean literally. We keep asking for regulations because any state of emergency, we not talk at the time of war, civil war or external war, but when we fight public health crisis, when you declare state of emergency, the best, international practice, now for develop a guidelines. That guidelines now in a regulation form like in the tell you say this emergency health crisis what would affect this public emergency health crisis where the country don't face the effect. If you not agree for abide by the rules and what we don't put in this guideline, now this is either you punishment, now this is either you fine. But since we early March, the executive arm through the principal legal advisor, when at the AG's office, go in deputy go to parliament, go talk say, let it approve the state of emergency. Then with members of parliament in this country, where they represent each and every constituency in this country, go ahead and give the government of Sierra Leone, through the executive, 12 months uninterrupted state of emergency without any guidelines. And then promise, say, within 21 days, let them go back to parliament with a guidelines and let parliament look at it if you fit for democratic governance system. So the House of Parliament, with pretext, I would say, they may look hyper until the Deputy Minister of Justice left that place. It don't pass the 90 days even. Not only the 21 days. We don't elapse the 90 days. Normally we get an option at this country. If we declare state of emergency, we can start for 90 days. Then we proceed further. So, but in this one, whatever reason, whether somebody get a clue, say, Corona fight will last at this country for 1 year. So with that, we need a 1 year state of emergency. So, proposal to Parliament, easily Parliament accept her. And the Parliament and the Executive continue for denying the people of this country then God gives a right for no waiting at the restriction boundaries. Up to now, we there in an indefinite, situation as to when and how we will actually. The 21-day elapsed Parliament will call AG, entire AG. But this same Parliament don't approve judges, it don't approve other board of directors, it don't approve other directors, it don't approve ministers, inside this very COVID. But this very Parliament know that the interest, the people that will be the represent, they want to know why they're not getting regulations. Somebody could just grab it, tell you, say, let nobody not can if you not get face masks. Nobody tomorrow, if you enter inside Puna not get face masks, enough for go. That was first the drivers union, a civil society organization, like a drivers union. We know they're part of government, any arm of government. They grab people press release. They want people of this country, Then the next thing you follow, Ministry of Health, nobody treat them serious. So when the government try for reduce the restrictions within, the president announced some and he say the chairman for the NACOVAC, where they deal with COVID issue, it will announce it later. Then we begin get some rumor and say, the first of this, the 29 of this, with this of this, if we use face masks, then we begin see policemen, they put people then down from Poda, Keke, and this, that. In that poor coordinated manner. If you put that person there waiting on punishment, the sad thing is this, and they put people then down from Poda, Keke, or on top Okada. Then people, they walk up by foot without face masks. They pass police or the whole up.
Because since you talk that one, I be break down the NACOVAC, the enhanced regulation with them pool. They only focus by people them with the inside motorcar, but they not talk nothing about people that are walking. So
that's clearly shows the poor coordination and the lack for a proper strategic thinking as to how really. And you see, even when we open school for picking them, the confidence from the minister, from government, they actually say, everything they in place. But we're not strange to that. Even before COVID came, they tell us everything they in place. Where the situation hit Lungi, we begin to see videos and they fly over, pop inside plastic water. That cool water, plastic, coffee, and they serve you inside. I mean, that's very disrespectful. And not get any respect for human being. Then go tell you, say, we'll not be prepared for this, we'll not get the resources for this. But we are saying that we are prepared. The preparedness level is high. So, but when it comes out for distribute tea, pap, inside cool water plastic, they say we don't be prepared. I mean, when things hit we lower, instead of we accept, we they bring a lazy excuse and say, no, not to this. Where we not been there? Where this been there? Where Corona, where Ebola been there? I mean, we don't pass that stage then day. We don't say since 1961, after we don't suffer 150 years. From the white people. Then 1961, we try for say, let me look after our affairs. Civil war, military, coup, and other disasters, and poor education, not able to make we move faster than we other company. We will all be there under that same, 150-year rule under the white people. So, what's in this problem we don't know? Because we come up with issues, them say, these are the solutions. Then when we put people in there for really implementing solutions, they create more problem than the solution. this has been one of our problems.
Since we did inside this particular one way they talk now, I want to look on small power to they talk. Because lately, Naya, we get people who they say maybe Sierra Leone was not ready for independence based on the thing that we outlined. So say, like for carry out things them way for make with him up strong like a country, he can get some kind of way big breeze. You can tell like saying that Tinada they blow him. What thing that you take on this particular one? You think say we were ready now? Miss the turning, or what thing that you take on this before we come back to the topic we talk about?
Well, I wish I'd been born before that time than they really know than what way I don't read or what way they don't explain to me, because this is like a country where it's very difficult to get a straight story. Very straight one. Everybody they give a story based on their own perspective and a political view by them. Maybe it be support Salmiti Magai, Albert Magai. Maybe it be support Shaka Stephen by them. So with that view, it distorts the story. They give you the actual story. But to me, on time I don't they alive in this country, involvement in, public governance, social public issues and governance issues in this country. We get a mentality of not moving forward. But we just want a spotlight for shine on we na stage. Immediately the light go off, then whatever we don't achieve go off. And we see that in the governance changing system. The moment other countries and the governance policy in the best interest of the people is a continuity, but not in the interest of this country. We look at the contractors the way they before their SFPP, so we should scrap that contract. We look at the contractors the way they before their APC. If they remain there, we're empowering our own enemy. They will call their own brothers their own enemy. So, but in other countries, they don't. What them will do, that project will go on, but then will put more scrutiny level, more monitoring and supervision on that and counterpart, where they know say get that contract, will ensure say it complete that contract, and the people of that country benefit from it. But that is not in our own case. You go around this country because of the change governance after governance. Some road they don't take 15 years, under construction. Some road they don't take 21 years and above. Some road they wait for last for 3 months, don't run up to 2 years, 3 years. And even when they say they don't complete it, you look at it and say it completely incomplete. So that whole way to ransom, they will give somebody contract for renovate Connaught. Even in maybe the time we're not getting independence, that same about design and structure and then they put. We get one way beating of building school in this country. Once you build we put them, hold them at the blocks that we get hold at the window. So the safety, or the only safety side in fire disaster, that the main door. So if you're at the main door, they attack, no way, no other exit door, no day. One door open. So if you snap, they attack the school and they shoot randomly that they don't want. Every picking way they go die, including the teachers. You look at the buildings, the structures we put in this country. The moment you don't buy the land, now you get your permit. Now you design. Now you know what you want to put there. At the heart of Spur Road, Bottom Mango, it's just like, their marketplace, then first will be not set up in this country. Like they can call a Luma. That's just like the kind of place. We don't get any place again we go say this residential area. For God's sake, because of political interest. He said if we pull them now we own people then and then they vote for we. If we touch them, they don't go left them one and they encounter we. And we left the thing as usual. But during politics, they will tell you, say, they will fix this, they will fix this, they will fix that. But when governors can, the only thing they fix is to pull money from this point to another point, which is their own personal point. So how can we move? You look a country wherein with basic healthcare, lack of basic healthcare is a whole huge challenge. Adequate provision for food and drinking water. Up to now, some side people will refer to Lumley in some kind of a place where they're not the West. But Lumley, people then still in Lumley, where they go inside gutter and cut other man in pipe, they put water rubber and get water. People then Lumley, where they suffer for light for over how many days? Sticks then Lumley, we just make you like you then are your village. Then a city. You get houses in Alumni, but we're satisfied with that. We're content with that. When you highlight this issue, you're against this government, they're in favor of the government. I mean, me a victim. The previous government say, me an enemy of the state, me they destabilize the state. This same this other administration again, they also the supporters then. I guess several mammy cost them with the cost me, mama. Just like saying the truth, about how stagnated we are as a nation. The moment they see one small flash thing, I see one NGO say they renovate ambulance now Pujon district. The number of dust we dey inside the ambulance. It pass the playground where people they play. I mean, these are how just we treat government property. We as a citizens. Then we expect much. But then we cannot give much to the society where we belong to. When you sacrifice much and say you crazy, when you not thief, they say you not sober, you get swear.
Okay, make we come back. Yes, we don't come out and we just make we digress a little. Make we come back. We find out, say, whenever the president can call in press conference, Yusuf can there among, whenever all the one the way don't do through this COVID-19, you can always do it. I don't know if you can follow up with the daily NACOVAC meeting. You feel, say, because there are some questions and the way can come up, the one the way they ahead, right then and NACOVAC then go tell you, say, they're not aware or they not get any knowledge to that. You feel, say, there is from that aspect of sitting there in a State House lawn or wherever to the aspect of NACOVAC headquarters and the one the way they try for tell we all the daily things, them how this fight against coronavirus they go. You feel, say, they get good relationship?
I don't know, but in chemistry relationship, you can get personal relationship, but that synergy, that working synergy, that network within the offices, that we lack and very seriously in this country. Anybody tell you that hypocrites? I mean, they want to be hypocritical and they want to just cover up with a part of the system. We cannot pull the system way with a part of down. You don't see several inconsistencies in NACOVAC, the communication to the public, and that bring the lack of trust and confidence, in people, the engagement. You see that, say, the engagement of citizens with NACOVAC, it been done low, and up to now they go low. First time, within the first 4 weeks, I mean, citizens, they look forward to. And they see, say, people then they kind of Facebook or WhatsApp, they praise government, about the strife. Like even the president, people be so much let calm, say a brave, it get the people of this country at heart, he prepared, they put a program, them in place like a soldier. So when a distance himself from the task force, then he put an interim leader. So what they do, they set up a human structure, but they not put the infrastructure structures in for really network with the human beings where they don't give responsibility to, for do the thing. Like, for example, I get several calls from the district, like say, Mr. Fatoma, the 2 months this, from when they don't appoint me a district coordinator and not receive 1 cent it, and me money they take, for sensitize people they are for using even these face masks. Up to now, me they not able to send 1 face mask self my height, for myself. Now me own personal laptop I they use, But then the story in Africa or the press conference from State House, it's quite different than the reality on the workers. And when you ask some people, then later on you see that they appoint, administrators and the district administrators. And then when you get interview with them, when you talk with them, no, they not put no system in place, or even the money they circulate within the system. But I don't know a press conference where the vice president of this country boastful to we say, if not the money day. You don't get problem with money. But then when we challenge them on one of the press conference that they urge the vice president for go do a tour at the provinces. When he come on at the provinces, when he come, that they prompt the president for call this last, press conference where they will call where they invite some of feedback, for go there and talk say after the vice president, go at the provinces where the president send them. Based on the information we get from stakeholders and the community people, the suffering, the burden on the people, and that they make, a comeback and report to the president saying that this the people then say. So then lift the coffee up and open the roads then, for people then. So, but then the vice presidents have the part of the task force. But and these 2 gentlemen there, they get plenty other work them for do. So they make them hire the other people there, the other ministers that we nothing know them much now at the ministry and put them at them place then there. But yes, still, they will sign MOU with health workers, no problem.
Because now they
go believe say, when the health workers and the public, you don't go believe say people they pay money for COVID, certificate, death certificate, for go bury them people. Then the one they will give money for certificate car, no certificate car, then they take the little body go, then they give them. So I engaged the barrier team, man. They tell me, say, no, not the surveillance team. I engaged the surveillance team. They say, hey, not the barrier team. So I tell them, say, they have to work it out and ensure that, say, they don't put more burden on the people of this country. Because what they do is nothing good but a wickedness. If somebody they die, they don't die through by COVID in people then they grieve, then you go put 300,000. If they don't give that money, the time when they don't set for the burying, it's not possible because, the certificate not commemorate. And this all, the dishonest, the deceitfulness, the level of wickedness in this country, it's just not right for we as a nation. These are all some of the other hard contributing factors. Whatever we do, today.
The fight against coronavirus, because we want to make it end as soon as possible. We don't ask just now how the civil societies themselves they come together for help. You don't explain to me how the civil society and parts of UNA, even Chadi, they try to engage the vice president, make the vice president go and make himself go see what's in the ground. Because it's like whatever is going on out there is different from the perspective where they reach now the top offices them. We even see NACOVAC say then take a tour going at the provinces and everything. Yesterday, when we hear about the Medical and Dental Association, then press release, waiting the spokesperson for NACOVAC say, he said this is a news story. He said because waiting do when them be take a tour going at the provinces, nobody not be complaining. They say they not receive money. So this particular one wake up and maybe not just one of. These are just one of the things them way they go around. But what thing really you think say we need for Dunaya for fix the healthcare workers them so that there is this thing in Sierra Leone apart from healthcare workers where salary and allowance for pay on time not to normal thing. It's like you get to go on top days, on top months, on top before. How can we change this narrative in Sierra Leone?
You say one thing, like you quote the NACOVAC spokesperson. For Meki always say this news story, it look very common now for us. Situation and the way they happen when a very real situation, we're not so isolated thing. They're all over. And this country, the country too small. The moment them two bad thing about me, you go see several people will pop me up on my WhatsApp or call me, or get message to me through my Facebook. So the frontline workers, they're not in isolation. They keep giving warnings. If not the MOU not don't sign saying that this sign are your obligation, will not meet your obligation. If they say for meet their obligation, then they meet their, but they're not going to fulfill their obligation. Then when they reach to the state inside, then we get an excuse saying a one-off, we don't understand, but this. I'm not thinking so then people then they go receive money, there will be so much we cook and cover publicly, then get a repetition, for protect. But when it comes to that, you get people then go with emotions and bring politics into the whole mix of fields. But if not any of them parents them in there or their close relatives that been there in that position, even then they for the party, you see them will become very, very much unhappy. With the system, where they treat them people and so on. So you ask how we go stop that system. When government pay the balance money for all previous government workers like ministers, ambassadors, vice president, and all this, and president, the last benefit, the last payment for the time when they serve this country. The press release come out say they don't pay. But then 1 or 2 days, they want the way for be beneficiaries to their money, then they were on social media saying that, oh no, the money not reflected in my account. So the accountant general, the SG, the financial secretary, FS go don't sign, and the minister. They don't go to the accountant general. Accountant general don't get a green light to the bank then. So maybe some bank then they say money. Now this country I say they say money mature. I don't know if the money enter the premature one. So then therefore wait mature. So it takes 1 or 2 days for let people then get their money. We don't get a swift payment unless orange money, in a minute to minute payment. That's one of the fastest payment in this country I don't see. The moment you send orange money for somebody or African money, you get an instant. But when it comes to bank transaction, somebody go don't pay, say, oh, well, you're not clear it. It's not clear it. I don't know. So we get for really discipline with financial institutions, and because all that they have for undermine the confidence and trust, for government, pay system, and you see that say they know say when month done, the queue them go long, but from colonial days to now, with this now in modern day, up to now, we months done at this country. You see long line at the bank then. You want to go do all the transaction because of people that go for go take their salary, bank the lock by 3 o'clock. So you don't go even able, and you get limited means really for do online transactions in this country because we believe in dealing with cash for cash. People enjoy cash for cash. Even you want to pay them through orange money, no, me no one out there, they never go court for me money. Even you paid for the service, they still reject it. But this all the part of governance system building. So, the government, I need for bring policies that will be very effective, and user friendly, to the citizens.
somebody they say, he said the majority of the money where they can say so, he say now for make them verify. Now make them can say the money for mature.
No, I mean we don't move from that era now, the verification of the money. Because now anybody where they make a payment, I mean technology don't they now. Anybody where they move money from Abdul Fatoma account to AAA account, and they clearly register say Abdul Fatoma. You know, when you look at the compulsory way of registering now a SIM card in this country, you don't get a single person where you go send money to an orange money. The moment you don't put the amount, the next thing where they come on, they post in the full name. So you don't verify already, say, and they send money to, AAA. Because in name then they ask you for register either with your passport, your voter's card, or your Sierra Leone driver license. Then will reject any foreign identification. I mean, I tried that. I don't mean they will be passport, but they will one of me driving license when I foreign license. So I tried for Sinai and said, no, we want to learn something. So I have to go back and go for my voters, local ID, my national passport, my Sierra Leone passport, and I give them all the options and which one they want. Then they choose among either my voters or my Sierra Leone passport. So that happens to the banks as well. Nobody knows the open bank account in this country without any one of we local identification document. So verification, even organizations. In terms of the money laundering surveillance in this country, I mean, we did so much stuff. The moment you want to send above 50 million, even at 51 million, you pay somebody, then they cash that check. The system, they reject it. You only allow for transfer 50 million. Unless you get for explain to the bank why you want for transfer 100 million. If you even receive more than 60 million to 100 million, then they call you for let you explain to them how comes you get that money coming into your account. But of late, I say that happened. But then before, when we don't do fraud alert that some bank there, we be see them we do $1.5 billion. Why they not be calling people then? Because they're not government people. So this law is only subject to the common man, we're not drag man. So you get lost into the implementations of laws in this country.
Okay, I want to make we come quick because myself go through the same vetting, forget the orange money or official money, just like how you explained also. Somebody said right now, you can send money for you instant, you don't get them. But when you come to the banking area, the banks always, so somebody they say, anything say we banking or we electronic payment system na salon, it need an overhaul. Do you agree to that?
We don't get that. So it's not about overhaul. It's about building the infrastructure. We need to build an infrastructure to that. I remember say, I get a conversation with somebody within that field. During an escrow in time, they wanted to bid for that process. But then later on, it can politicize within a Jewish man and a Russian man. So they were looking for the highest bidder. So what happened? A change of ministry been there, a minister has been there at the Ministry of Finance. So with that minister, they go to interest. So it closed the game by the other minister we come. So that money if the possible if we get a contract, if we get them. So faintly back I understand say this government they are about to open that same process. So that, we will get electronic circulation of funds. So the moment you disburse money today, you pay me today, it reflects into my account today. So no bank no go hold up or wait is because most of the money they bank go to DSL. None of we bank, they keep higher amount of money. So then they go keep their money in a Bank of Sierra Leone vault. When they need and then they can't clear and go back. So it goes sad for making that we don't get bank then at this country. We get over $60 million in their own where they keep them, for themselves. So that's one of that. This is one of the things that they talk about. We get a very small market. Other countries, and they look Hong Kong, where the population size are the same. But Hong Kong is a very big and vast economy. Look at Ghana. Just the money they receive for the COVID fight, it not even reach 15% of what we get. But we're celebrating. Even some people say that free money. Look at Morocco, Egypt, look at their own money. I mean, so we for the think about solution, how we go make we market be broader, how we go make we fight against these challenges. I mean, when you look at questions and on Google about radio, if they say for ghost radio, they will tell you say using the road a bad thing, that one of the unsafest thing you for put on your seatbelt or safety measures are not always recognized or neither respected. You get about and these are some of the things, and if we let this country for try for work towards that and improve. The Rwanda people, then when they know say they get a crisis will come their way, then country go backward. They try for work very hard, contribute, to every pieces of way. But we will see people then at the diaspora, if you get a civil society where they condemn a system, based on that civil society in last name, then will say, like we party, they won't support. But then they will say, we the diaspora and we get for change that country. You didn't change your own step. Why you think you can't change your country?
Since we dey inside this wire right now, civil society them na salon. How credible are they to the extent where they able hold government accountable? If government make a mistake, come and apologize and change something around. Because the one way they go against government, mostly when they say civil society, they say, human rights. When the people misbehave, where people talk, that's the one I don't ask you that day before. But now holding the government accountable to a point for make the government acknowledge and change certain things them. Do we have those kind of civil society in Sierra Leone?
Oh, yes. We they talk to you right now, I think we get our record from previous administration, even though, we began very huge challenges. But we recommend several issues where they peak and left some way probably not good to their own political interests. And even this government, not everything we suggest and peak, but we largely, most of the things that we don't suggest, we don't criticize. Like one of the things, Solomon Jamiru, the NACOVAC guy, recently he talks the lack of regulations, in this COVID fight, it undermined the fight against COVID. And that was the exact word, on television and on radio and on other platforms. And like I say, we don't challenge the government on several things. Judiciary reforms, how we court systems and for day. Today again, I go work on a law court. And first time I really a little bit pleased with law court. You see that sanity. Then at the law court, the main law court building, how clean it is, congest again, how security, everybody, the workers, then they run attend to people them, So the moment that I be wearing mask, somebody else not see me, the moment I say, Mr. Fatoma, but even when I be just in up, they observe how they think they go, I was impressed. But this all comes to some of we organization and effort. If you look, we press release them. We get civil society organization where government they listen to. Definitely we get civil society organization where government not go listen to. So it's all about the way you package your message and build your institution credibility and the leaders in credibility. But you see some civil society leaders, and the moment they open their mouth talk, you see overwhelming abuse they come back and front. And you can even see them put some organizations and up them will say, this organization, yes, we trust her. This one, I will not trust her. No, this bossy, I will not let even talk. Well, you know, a civil society person, they will go during when they hold a student, they link on queen them. So we go there for go really try for see how we go help. Like we organization we provide legal representation, you know, for some of them. So a particular civil society leader go there, pass where people then go do, and the student they want be beaten. They say we don't let you even talk for we don't let you can hear we. You know, but then, you know, we have to accept people who they are. And globally, that thing, you know, only in Australia, like I be telling you earlier on, we get civil society, they are pro-government, we get civil society, they are pro-opposition, we get civil society. We stand at the middle for ensure, then they fight, you know, for the social cause of the people.
Before I come, I want to read one or two tweets them from Chadi in account where na one self we put na Facebook so that people can go see them. But respond to this in 2 minutes if you're able. He said the backwardness of we country not just start 2 years back, so we know for just expecting for one smoothly and easily na the country right now.
You know, this is the poor mentality we get. When they talk here, I talk even when we've been there under the white people then for 150 years. And I even talk back, say, when we gained independence in 1951, we attitude, we behavior as a country, you know, it's not able to make we progress, for like we even meet with other countries and we and they all been there under these white people then. We gradually and slowly, maybe some then a 1 year different day within we and them, some then a 2 year difference, some then a month different day between we and them. So I talk about we attitude, we as a people towards we country, not able for help we. This same similar excuse, oh, Shaka Stephen this, Milton Magai this, Abba Magai this, you know, Tiyanka about this, Momo this, you know, Anes Kumar this, Marabio this. What do we for think about as a country? Where are we and how can we get out of here? You know, but then what we only concentrate about, we are okay today and, you know, we cannot change everything overnight. Nobody say we can change overnight. Rwanda going to war 1994. We go into civil war, you know, 1991. And we run up to 2000. But then, from 2000 to date, you know, and you look at other countries, we also go into civil war. They don't make some significant progress. We don't make progress, but we progress not significant because we still lack of so many basic things. We for really make we be a country. We still get laws and we hold we to ransom. Where the previous administration refused for review their laws and this administration now, somebody they say 2 years, now 3 years, so now we they go. We are no longer in that 24 months where they talk about. So let's start talking. Nobody know. I mean, President Biono to Jesus Christ. We know they expect him to perform miracle. You know, no administration or the world they expect for them perform miracle. But when election may come, my brother, and the person will write that. Members say them be write their manifestos them. And then manifestos and they come with plans them inside it. And then plans and then we go refer to as promises. That when we win that this we will do, when we win that this we will do. We all know that this country situation and problem enlarged to an extent. With the struggle, now we they even get people the way they survey for long go get traffic lights. Guinea, Liberia, you know, Gambia and other countries. They don't move ahead from that era, they say. Now they remember forget overhead, you know, pedestrians, you know, a working point.
And a 5 normal.
You know. Now we they think about that. Look at the roads in Ghana, the Tama highway where they don't open. Yeah, you just remember, say you did New York, or you did London, or you did France, some tunnel there. But we, once more, Hill Court Road, how many years now? It's still there, not completed. Then do overhead left the hazardous, burden at the side and just can't put some cement block there. We they walk over, we don't get flyover. Fly what?
Make a come to Chadi intuit them. We na decide way I want make we round up small, and because I want make one or two people and call in, make we hear from them. Maybe we don't know if we could still get you for close up, or maybe then they go be. But this na the main one where they go on right now. That's alone from yesterday to today. Chadi say human rights also give the right for fair trial. He say all mortal man gets the right for move go na court, usai then go impartially judge am or make any decision on am. He say the need for trust the court for give them justice when everything else fail. He said the protection of the judicial independence, he said they make them, they intend for make the judicial independence protect people and make it go furthermore and help for simplify any particular case in any particular person. We no go otherwise resolve their own problem for themselves. He said the protection now for the entire community and not trust. You forget trust. The other one say while the civil and the criminal strands of justice, then firmly entrenched in the law of many communities, he say the social strand has yet to be fully accepted. The people in need for fully acceptance. Say despite the aspirant of the 1948 United Nations Declaration on Human Rights after the atrocities presiding the world. This now waiting we get from Chadi based on the ruling where we get na court or based on waiting Chadi in see. Explain to we who side Chadi born then tweet here from.
With a human rights organization, and people know we stand on social justice, one for bridge the gap. So through that, we can do education through a social media platform. We introduced with Twitter handler early this year, and shamefully we get about 300. 300 and something people. And so we went for CC, if we move with human rights education to Twitter, we were able to get majority of the Sierra Leoneans and we did it for, follow we and continue for a credible update on Sierra Leone governance issue, justice issues, and as well with human rights and rule of law education. And so it's just part of we normal things and we do. It just be coincident with what will happen at court. But then the coincidence also get some little bit of a link, when it comes to that. When you talk about the last tweet, then I will go up. The civil justice, in cover the prevention, and resolution for tension between aggrieved parties. Now that really, the civil justice and they look into. Then when you look to the criminal side, they actually talk about, it do similar thing, but between the offenders and the primary victim, that are the perpetrator we then can refer to, and the community, So that similar thing where the civil justice they do, but in another different form. Then the words then different. Like now, they call them the offenders, or primary victims. Then when it comes to the social justice, That the last one, and we really will not pay much attention in it to, Sierra Leone and globally, I would believe so, because other countries them as well, where I don't work and work with, they face similar challenge. The social justice in the look into areas the way it will address relationship between the minority and the majority group, in our society. So the issue of the minority and the majority. The minority people, then are the high class people, the rich people, and the majority, how we will build that comfortable relationship with them. We still get that gap very wide, the rich and the poor, gap. So that their educations and they try for, bringing to people them. Then the other one, they say we get a court system, a court for them by law, when a day we go seek redress. If you wrong me, I wrong you. When we go to court, we forget confidence and trust and the possibility they sit on that matter. But for far too long, immediately after we independence, within 1963, 1964, then we began a problem with the legal system in this country. Since then time and then now to today. You say, if this government, this administration will get away, somebody will be a very strong mouthpiece and read some of the changes. But a mixed thing, within the judicial system. Within these 2 years or 2 years plus something, we see that the sitting government lost several cases, and which come to surprise even to the oppositions when they win the cases, or when the case they go into their favor. And we see that even the country as a whole, a nation, because the moment case go to court, they begin predict whether in favor of that case they did. But then we look at some cases, then they back, you see, people that they wish and hope the government will lose the case. Then we don't see government loser, government winner. Then you bring another mixed feeling that say, the executive, they still control the judiciary, the legislation still an interference. And these are the fundamental laws and that say each of them three arms are there for independent, nobody know for interfere with the company work, but then for work hand in hand, for deliver. But look at the structure of the criminal justice system, from the police, the correctional center, then you come to the judiciary, then at the court, because of we get, two system of law in this country, we go customary law, then we go common law, we customary law, come to the local court, we community courts them. They also they impose fine. They also they deal with minor criminal cases. They also they deal with minor civil, civil cases. Minor one, not that much big major ones. They don't get much restriction, but the only restriction that's a lawyer, a qualified lawyer, not get audience before we look at courts. So if we only be layman to layman, that are the biggest restrictions, on that. But the confidence and trust in the legal system, it don't help for hamper, we hope, because land cases, then we don't spend 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, house blabber. Maybe one day we all go that case, they not court, they all don't die. But the case still did not court. And nobody will ever pass a verdict on that case. And even the judge, maybe we first start for sit down for that case, they say don't die. They are alive. The lawyer will really be enough for the two parties. Maybe himself don't die. They are alive. And no record, they will go for counsel. Okay, we review this matter. We give wrong to the one we wrong. We give justice to the one we deserve. So this continue giving lack of trust, within the system. The moment the government win, the moment the court they in favor, the police they in favor, the correctional center, So the moment they not dance to the tune, then they go for say, or this one, and then not for me, then it's sabotage. This is not a uniform statement, for most politicians in this country. Only uniform to one party, uniform to the two political parties. Them way don't rule this country. And even some of the smaller oppositions, they get some of their languages. Then they will say, oh, because we not to this party member, I make you do me this. But then you see, say even the offspring of the smaller parties and picking them way come on up these two, parties there, we don't rule this country. So with judiciary and justice system in this country is a whole huge challenge. With people that need a whole continuous and persistent education when it comes to that. But genuinely and honestly, we're not able to forget much people them for come openly, for analyze and challenge some of the issues we they face with. But we know globally say we judiciary corrupt. We know globally say we police system corrupt. I mean, that's the perception out there. That's what people believe in. When you look at, you see, say the judiciary independent, because countries that with the judiciary independent, they not allow the executive arm of government, a liaison office between the executive to the judiciary. The office now they design the budget. Like for example, the Chief Justice and the registrar of the court and other administrative staff of the court, they develop budget for the judiciary. The judiciary, they go under the Ministry of Justice, on way in the AG, in a political appointee. Now, in the work with them for development budget, and now under the AG's office, the judiciary will present their own budget, which for me, I believe, for far too long, is a clear disrespect to that arm of government. I mean, they not to picking them when they need lunch. If the parliament, they get their own budget independently, the executive, they get their own budget independently, each ministry, they get their own budget. Come on, why the judiciary not for get their own budget? And this the ministry we this the arm of government we not engage in any commercial thing, therefore solely get money from the government coffer directly. So that will help them and not compromise. But in William's case, we're not able to separate the office of the Attorney General and the office of the Minister of Justice. So we're able to get, yes, principal advisor to government, yes, a minister will go look into the justice issue for the entire country. We will work with the Ministry of Army, we will work with the judiciary, the police, the correctional center, so, in partnership with the internal affairs, where they look after police and the correctional center, for ensure that say, the judiciary, the Ministry of Justice, internal affairs, look holistically about the challenges and pop something up. Look at the prison management. What are the facilities there? When we send you in a correctional center, not of go make bed and chair no more. But you're able to get qualification. Yes, like McKinney, for example, Unimark, the accident, they do certificate courses and it's encouraging. But then the environment, they have to remove some of these, detainees or prisoners, out of that place, to educational centers. In other countries, the schools and classrooms, everything the recreational facility, everything they did. But not in our own case. I mean, so we really get to take somebody for, educate people then on this. When we appoint judges, then the composition of appointed judges, the Judiciary Commission, the setup, it's all about political thing than really a genuine thing. Because this country, even as the Bar Association for represent somebody, if you represent, they for nominate somebody, when they nominate somebody, Senate, if the president of the country at that moment not pleased with that person, they don't think that person in our favorite, people then they will go advise, say, no, reject. Then the president they have the liberty for reject. So why not automatically the bar association can nominate somebody straight away without any rejection, as long as it fulfills the general criteria of everybody who will be part of that commission. But that is not in our own case. So, I mean, we therefore bring more education, the government know, and let people them aware about that.
Okay, I want to make you give it 10 minutes quick. Make we take calls them, then we'll count you back for can close. Make we just take calls for just 10 minutes, then we they come with you back for come do the closing. All right, sir. Thank you very much. Make we come with Aisatu. Yes, Aisatu. You get 2 minutes, my waiting. You get for we.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to Abdul Fatoma. Thank you for coming in, and also thank you for enlightening us on all the different things that are happening in our country. We truly appreciate these, and then it kind of helps us understand a lot of things that's been going on. But I have this one question, which it might turn like a similar. I think it's a two question in one. So first, I know Chadi is doing a lot just to ensure that things are done right for people in the country, to treat people with human dignity, because, as a healthcare worker, I feel like every human being should be treated as such. You should want something that you want for yourself, and that's how you should treat people, because the way we saw them treating people in the quarantine center is not how we should treat one another. If something is not right for you as a human being, you should not wish that for the next person. So that said, what can we do to ensure that we as citizens, and also especially those of us living in the diaspora, to ensure that the government will change the way they treat people in that country, and most importantly, how can we ensure that our health sector, is being, developed in terms of infrastructure, as well as, paying the healthcare workers, in a meaningful, adequate, and, respectful way, because what's happening right now and what we're hearing, it's not justice for the healthcare workers. They don't want risking their lives, day in, day out. The government or the team doesn't know what, is really going on, in the isolation unit or in the treatment center. So we want to know, how can we come on board to ensure this thing is happening? I know we talked about changing the constitution. Would doing a petition make that, faster, instead of waiting for the constitution to be changed? Because we want something to happen like now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aisatu. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, caller, you get the platform. You get 2 minutes. What's in your contribution?
This is Mike from Philadelphia. I just get two questions for him. I just want to know, with the criminal liability law, how far we don't go now and what kind of progress we don't make. And with the prison situation, the prison break, I want to know what's be happening and what's happening really with them, with the people that will die. What's happening with that situation there. I'm your contribution.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. Thank you. Yes, caller, ID live on here. Your name and who you call from?
Yeah, Triple Enemy.
Yes, you get 2 minutes. What's in your contributions?
So yeah, thank you very much. I just want to tell Lamande, thank you very much. Then a question me want to ask. One, what do you think about some part of the judiciary people, whether I appeal court or upper case court, for me begin to ask some of them people and they to go into be elected officers instead of selected officers like how they do now. Some lawyers, then there some judges, then when I vote, then they vote for them in. So if the people then feel say they need to do the right thing, after 2 years they can vote them back out. Then I want to, I really like the idea we talk about the judiciary. The only way because now one of the three arms of government, why them for the under the chief justice, why them for the under the government, because if they did it, then they need to do anything with their own. Then the third question is, how far it don't go with this fight about, because me they call and repealing this rubbish paper we'll get with them call the constitution, because The people and we write this in 1991, they not be ever think for the country. They be only think for SLPP and APC. Everything where they come out of that paper, they clean for no say. Nothing other they waiting for the people of this country. How far we don't go now with that paper day? If we need any more contribution, because until to me on this, not me on way no more. Until that thing they change, nothing they change us alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Omar. Thank you. Yes, Usman Toli, you get 2 minutes, sir. What do you get for Abdul Fatoma?
Okay, thank you very much. Abdul Fatoma is always somebody we can let for listening to this program, because he always give the actual fact where they go on at the country. A question I just want to ask, and I think you've been begin ask that question there. We know CSOs. Yeah, now one of the organizations then this way they may not criticize in the country. We don't see USA human rights, then they violate them during this COVID-19 fight. And we see less don't they come out from the CSOs then, the NGOs. And the Temuki expect them, for come and challenge the government on some of these issues or other institutions then know they come up. So one of the fundamentals then we see Fatoma talk is they not get much empowerment in terms of resources. So they will only do as best as possible. But having said that, we know international NGOs then as well as national NGOs are mostly known for corrupt practices in Sierra Leone in terms of embezzlement and all that. So what in we're able to do, NGOs them, especially the national one them, for make them gain the trust of the people then. And that number one put on the table. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Usman Toli. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, caller, you live on air. Your name and where you call from?
Triple A, Francis to call from Ohio.
Yeah, Francis, you get 2 minutes. Waiting, you get for Abdul Fatoma.
Yes, almost what maybe one talk, Abdul Fatoma and my friend, something goes to be right now, Sabia. Now, one of the mandate they would highlight issues were pertinent to that country today. Even the last government, with the attack and this one, current government again, the same thing. One issue where you realize, when we decide, send the time at the time for continuing the question again and be out all the time. This ministry, the Attorney General, and this Minister of Justice, and the Judiciary, as the case may be, what he clearly see is very correct. I see no reason why the Judiciary for the under the Minister of Justice. The Minister of Justice is appointed by the President. There is no clean something will happen in that country until they separate the ministry, they pull them off. I can only talk up. The Minister of Justice, if you want something to go independent in that country, the Minister of Justice, let the people vote for them. They will be appointed by the President. That is clearly say the Minister of Justice will be able to work with the Judiciary. The Judiciary need to get their own budgets. They need to get their own budgets and for control their own affairs independently without the interference of the executive. But as long as we continue to appoint a Minister of Justice, okay, the Attorney General, okay, they in the government, they in the government spokesman, that's no problem. But the Minister of Justice, we need to vote for them. All the other judges, they district courts, they city courts, they all they vote for the people today. They forget me time. If you not perform, they come on there. But as long as we continue for compromise to them people, they are, my friend, they say they did nothing. They talk to them until we don't die. Look like criminal law libel. The day I guess that's what say APC, it done. Now I said we come and they say the first thing they pull up, nothing. So let me on contribution that bro.
Thank you very much, Francis. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, caller, you there live. You get 2 minutes. Your name and where you call from.
I see Mr. Fatoma mention. I'm in Koroma actually. I call from the United States.
You get 2 minutes.
I see Mr. Fatoma mentioned say you get CSOs and then a pro-government and I quite believe you already run the Makwena pro opposition. Then they really right? Or that I know.
All right. Thank you very much, Koroma. Yes, Abdul and Fatoma, the questions them a lot, but this now your platform, carry on, sir, with the questions them.
Okay. I won't be able to forget some of the questions. By the time I try for listen to you, and listen the people them, but I ever forget few of them at the last end.
Okay.
Maybe you will help me.
I will help you out. Yes, just carry on.
First of all, I want to tell everybody thank you, and we call in, and the one the way they make comment either for or against. The good thing is that we get a platform where we genuinely discuss with country problem, with country situation, and how best we go get a knowledge and get our understanding about that situation. So maybe one day we will get inspired, for solve some of them problems. So I appreciate everybody, whether they for me, whether they against me. I do appreciate everything, Yes. Dr. Aisatu, in your side, I meet up.
Yes, nine are the first person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that and all of them. Okay. In concern, the people that we did a quarantine, how we treat them badly in this country. Like when I start the program with you ask me questions, and I talk about we lack of, basic health facilities. We all know, say, infrastructure now one big challenges for we. When you go around, you still see the colonial structures and even the health centers where then they build. It don't encourage you, but let you consider, say, this is a modern building. A well sophisticated, advanced hospital, like where you go, other neighboring countries, African countries. Not forget about overseas Ghana health center. You see Ghana health centers, and some of the health centers in Ghana, say that they move towards modernization. But even at this 2020, with the put up structures, it's structures just will discourage you from where you born at that same style. They see no other quality design, where they really give you a breathing space. See, my country is making progress. We get our challenges, and when Corona one come, President go na 34, President go na Lungi, the government spokesman and government, political party supporters for and against, and they say, we didn't preparedness, they no one foresee that, conduce to the government. But when the situation hit, they inside plastic bag, and they will be put tea and also pap for serve people then breakfast and just chop two bread in their hand. So the only possibility they give quality food, that was Lagunda in partnership with the First Lady. Now they no more. So whatever become up with the First Lady be seized, you see the still poor quality food continue, spreading over. So then this comes that, there was no coordination from the starting. So the protection of the people they not get for them. If you read some of the press release and world people, we ask government for ensure that and protect the right of all citizens of this country and ensure that the well-being and welfare be looking after, because now the constitutional mandate that and now the constitutional responsibility of the state. Chapter 2 of the Constitution, place that burden on the government, for do that. So how we Sierra Leoneans and we the diaspora were able for help, it comes with huge sacrifice. Then it has to be system and structure. We go get Sierra Leoneans and we'll go and we'll volunteer or either work very hard, one for send money. But when they send the money, the justification of that money not deep. So at the end of the day, the other man we want for sending, they discourage, because you see for 2 cents today, nothing no they will come out good about that. You see about send yesterday, the same thing we for to go through now. So what they do, it is discouraged. I mean, I don't work with Sierra Leone. I don't come across Sierra Leoneans in the UK, so I live, for quite a long time. Say they will support charities and where they deal with board business and other things, but they never support a single charity in Australia. They say then one day, then wait, then they send Christmas card for me, with me birthday they can, and we'll send birthday card. But Salo, I don't donate it. Thank you, sir. And all they tell me, we trouble for them. Hey, problem no for them back. We don't know how you go help we back for this one. I mean, that's just the way we appreciate people who contribute to us. And then some people now hold on that, but that not going to make we give up. For looking for the genuine institutions who thinks it and they do the cause they close to we heart. Even me, they do human rights work, but I still support so many charities that this country personally, some the way we deal with picking business, picking sickness, some way we deal with other community development. So, I mean, we get for definitely do what we do. I mean, with we on clean mind, clean heart, with a genuine mind, yes, we go need for do that. So there's a lot of way we go come together and help in a very structured, coordinated way. We make government and say that this one for fund. We look at the community, we get a health center, but you don't get toilet facility. Then we say we want to put up a toilet structure. Maybe that will cost me $3,000, for fix everything, the structure and, the toilet facilities that we need for the. I mean, that way will help contribute, to then deprive communities and because they just build for the hospital, but they, 2-room hospital, but they don't get toilet facility. For the patient there, for the nurse there, or the dispenser. I mean, the HOC, how they can call it, the community health something, So, I mean, like that kind of idea, then they back the idea we can work if you want only contribute to the health sector. So a lot of things they for do. Then we go forward
before
to
we go,
somebody
because one side the way Dr. Isa to be the try for ask if having the government for push the government small if petition can able for make clear they respect pay the health workers them on time and they respect to citizens. You think say petition go work?
This country not they work with petition. I don't get an idea yet. This is not close to me 15 years in advocacy in and out this country. I don't see petition working that much because you look at with politicians the way they parliament, the word petition, they're not even close to her. So you look at some ministers, the arrogance of the politicians and their attitude. So because of the lack embarrassment thing, the thing we're able then a media press release and bad media headlines, and good campaign on the social media. The moment that don't bombard them, then they reverse. I mean, we do something on ETSA. They be called a meeting at State House where they want for, put on hold. So even other plan the way ETSA want put burden on people there. All that they be freeze and up to now it freeze. When one time 98.1 called me for talk about the electricity challenge. And you see them try for go work very hard for fix, our transformers and our communities away been a complain very badly and try for supply like not regularly done before. Like Palemba Road, Usawa office, they will be get blackouts. Sometimes within 1 hour, they get blackout 5 times. So, but now they say electricity is stable in that area. Then when the media call me, so the people, the citizens, then participate. So, like a program like this, if you get huge listeners, huge viewers, you get a critical people that can talk about the real issue honestly, and objectively. They say the government is going to action for fix that. I think that's the best petition. So the constitutional will be say, bid boards, when we ask for bid boards, some bid boards and they want 10 million, they want 8 million, they want 6 million. The money will be gathered, we don't even get 10 million. We need some billboards and we'll put a bold leader, some strategic side where then the government ministers themselves they pass, then they read that in how embarrassing they promise this inside a manifesto, but then now they're not deliver. Engagement, social change is very expensive. It's not a cheap thing, So this come with me to the other person in question, say, anyone for no Usai we day now. If you be listening me, the good thing about you, since that time we start this campaign, the moment you get me on this platform, the first thing you ask me is about the status update on that campaign. We've been on print stickers, Wogi, Okada, Keke, taxi, and some point them, some people then put on their office domot, some people then at their shop domot. We get the photographs we'll go share with you. I think I keep promise I need to do that, Ali, so that you go share, at the platform for see which side and way will be stick denting but then that is not enough for us. We need to go more beyond that. Like even we can go beyond printing, up to 100 or 1,000 t-shirts with that message and share the t-shirt then in at the streets of Freetown, any part free. So the moment people then wear that t-shirt, it brings a reminder to every Sierra Leonean for all their MPs and urge government for law change the constitution. These are all campaign methods, where they, get somebody, on in toes. They're like them billboards and the signs, we pay for TV, program and TV slot, they talk about 1 million something for one message, 1.8 million for a message, that's the thing about not get uniform price. Now the TV stations. So like all of them things and it takes money. We didn't raise more than 10 million. Even 10 million. So if we want really for intensify the campaign, we need for do more. Then this comes to the other person where say anyone for no civil society or NGOs and local NGOs and corrupt. That being a one person where I not ever disagree with you. The money way then they put into NGO sector for do development work, for do advocacy work. They see lesser advocacy and lesser development. But this now make you see say not all NGOs in this country or civil society get got for challenge government because they're not getting moral credibility. For challenge government on corruption, for challenge government on misappropriation, for challenge government, on, embezzlement. Like we can challenge government and tell you, say, okay, we bank with Union Trust Bank, go now we bank account, we give the free order and look. And come to a finance man and say the money we will take if it not go through that purpose day. Then me as the head, I will resign. We challenge because we get confidence in ourselves, how we deal with issues. And that makes you see, the international community in this country and out of this country, get a huge trust in our organization. We get a lot of things where we do with it. Now we even fight human rights abuse with German embassy. The person recently don't die. It been a work for German embassy. It go work, it claim up something, the letter poor.
German embassy in Sierra Leone?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, that's Sierra Leone.
Okay.
No, not Sierra Leone, not the German embassy.
Okay.
Then the letter broke, then that person they put in 2 foot then broke. Then when they go to Ghana, they can end up say get cancer of the bone, so they amputate in 2 foot them. So now elderly man now, they don't work for that embassy for 17 years. Then what will happen? Then pay end of term benefit 19,000 euros. That goes sum up to 190 million. But the pass say if for them, so he get an accident during the work, despite in statutory pension, he need a compensation. And when they call the matter to it and don't go through lawyer, then the embassy back hire a lawyer, So lawyer to lawyer, I mean, they fight the matter, they exchange letters, the law firm way, the embassy hire, even disregard the disability commission, they not go the meeting. So the family get frustrated and they come to Chadi. They said, maybe we're not going able for help. So we exchange letters now with the embassy. Now the government of Sierra Leone, they in a position now for strike a dialogue with the organization. So we'll talk to the family so the pa go gain compensation. But sadly, now this Friday, when we pass, we'll enter inside this week, then the pa don't die. So we don't recently back right, put the embassy, the European delegation in Sierra Leone, and the European Human Rights Committee, where they're very familiar with work, in Brussels, we also copy them. So that moved the embassy now for one of these part, not for raise lawyer again, for the public. Because we quote them the German laws and say that compulsory for pay compensation not Germany. We make sure so we even provide the legislation in German written. So since with the right to German embassy, we will provide German language, to them. So that was one of the most interesting part of that exchange. So, but this is not a thing we don't know they give we money for. Chad did not receive no money for any donor. Say fight for workers' rights. But we don't fight we go now closely to 1,000 workers who don't fight for their rights. But I mean, we fight for other workers that will work for Lebanese embassy for over 20-something years, then just sack them like that. They say then the other immunity will fight that case. We ensure that the Lebanese embassy pay them people, then they, will fight back the same thing for, other embassies. Where we look at staff, then they work with, they don't have to recognize that, right? It's because of the credibility of the organization that make even the ACC with a challenge foreign embassies. Some organizations, then they don't go give me visa again. Then they sometimes go blacklist me. Organization. So that fear of even challenging, because lack of credibility, lack of confidence, lack of trust. So nobody knows, say, every sector in this country corrupt, but we still get some good one there. So it depends on you whether you want to work with and how that person, they open and accountable to you. So that's how that is what you have to look for. Like AAA, I don't know if Dr. Fatu talks, so if Naina be the lady way, to be
yes, Dr.
office.
Yes,
yeah, Dr. Aisatu, we have been going to office. Like, with office door always open. So everybody will come to one for ask what they do or what you they about. I mean, that is how we are. We don't even get gate man, we do not. You get appointment with her, what you can do. No. Straight, we address the issue, And then this come back like somebody say, waiting to go on with the 1965 Public Order Act. The sad thing is about that entire act, they not good for democracy. But waiting more the public they advocate for and the media and some civil society, like part 5, where they talk about libel. Where it talks say the true not to defense. You are guilty until proven, innocent. Instead of you are innocent until proven guilty. So that part they no more. You see, say more noise there about follow we change. But that whole act gets on side where they talk say if you play loud music in the street, na nuisance, therefore arrest you. If you the worker in a group, you and people in the worker in a group, then the police say they're not satisfied with that group, then get right for arrest una or and detain una. Not to even charge una, detain una. So these are some of the bad laws inside our 1965. If really police say then they enforce their laws and I'm not thinking they talk much, but even 1991 Constitution, then we come to the Police Act when 1964. Which when itself not good. Then the Criminal Procedure Act, when they use that court, the same 1965. It's so bad that in democracy interest, in the interest of fighting justice, it ain't the interest of fighting injustice, not justice. Not a fair justice. Then somebody talk about, the Okay, before I go there. So that act is the part 5. Parliament be known say because it lead on for the past 60 days or 90 days, nobody no move on, so they don't step and down based on their own internal the parliamentary standing order. So they don't stand and down. So IMC and the Ministry of Information with the Sludge Advocacy Group, where they add with organization, we serve the part of that committee, where they try to put pressure on the government and parliament for ensure say they expunge that part 5. But we organization get interest for letting repeal the entire act, not only expunging part 5. So currently, the status that they are very 1965 Public Order Act Day, Part 5 to be specific. Then we come down to somebody who is they in line with what they have say, but mistakenly I think they mix up the AG, the Attorney General office for that of the Chief Justice when at the CJ. The Chief Justice then at the head of the Judiciary. Like where the president and at the head of the executive, like where the speaker and at the head of the legislative in a parliament. So, but in William case, what happened? The chief justice appointed by president, then president get a power, not the constitution, for summon a committee where go say, let we sack we chief justice. And that committee, they investigate and come up with a report to president. Then that report, they go to parliament and say, okay, well, president say, now on these grounds, and this and don't find about this chief justice, then we remove her. So the same power where the president gets for appoint her, it go through parliament, and that same power the president get back for removal, for go through parliament. This goes down to all judges. Right? If the chief justice is not safe, they will not safe, within at the Supreme Court bench, will not safe. Will not safe within at the appeals court. They will come down to the High Court. So all of these people appointed by president. So that tenure of office, because it's not secure, it's not guarantee, you can't do by political patronage, lack of merit, because the Judiciary Commission, now then for look in a pool of lawyers, experienced lawyers or benchers, like magistrate, the experienced one, and nominate them to the Judiciary Service, to the Judiciary Commission. And the Judiciary Commission now, they look at their nominees and present them to the president. So the president now will look among the rich list of waiting where they don't present to them, and appoint them to parliament, and parliament approve. You see the way they do the things, it's a bit of democracy, because parliament, now then they represent the people. So the parliament, any judge then they approve for being the best interest of the people. But when people go to parliament, you know what they say? They say the president in appointees them. So they focus more on the party and the president. So the fact that say they can laugh and smile on the issue, they pass those people without thinking about the nation, the different constituencies that they represent. And that brings the problem. Then when they go out of power and they say, oh, na SNPP judges, oh, na APC judges. But it sounds ridiculous that we cannot really say that we own judges as a country, that we own police as a country, that we own Sojama as a country. We always particize, we appointees and we in a front line for services, the what we need immediately. So then you get the AG and the Ministry of Justice, where the organization don't stand for quite a long time advocating. I mean, personally, Chad itself don't raise issue on that separation, where we make SLPP and other parties and say if they win, then we'll separate. But up to now, we never get separation of that office. That another manifesto, a promise where, I cannot declare a fail, but we don't see any progress on it. We they go now into the third year of this administration. So we go really appreciate before this 5 year done, if they're able to separate that office. I mean, that will be one of the best gifts to the people of this country after we're independent. Then I go down to the other individual, I think he talk about some, maybe if I forget you raise me mind up. I mean, is it Tolly and Francis? Okay, I don't answer Francis. I think it's Tolly. Now, Tolly, you get something on Tolly, so that I will just respond. I did contemplate. I don't slightly answer Tolly in your back.
I think that is have the plane on my mind now, but make I just see if we don't get Tolly in your answered.
Okay. Yeah. So you see. So I mean, relatively as a country, we governance systems. If we the people, then we get problem with them because we don't get that civic education for 10 people. So we self-way try for say we understand the issue. We then mix up the issues. One for talk about the issue, but we continue mix up in there. I mean, we don't know. So if you don't know something, how you go address that? But this has been our challenge. You see, during the COVID, immediately, every group want for donate to the same street, homeless people and street beggars, and disabled people. You get people then oversee with the same money. The people then go buy half bags, take pictures, and this and that. It was not well coordinated. If Ministry of Social Welfare and they deal with disabled people, why not every citizens where they give go to Ministry of Social Welfare or go straight and key, to civil society or NGOs the way they relief item for during disaster and give them food and day to them. Like overseas, you get the Salvation Army, you get Red Cross, where people then they donate. So they know how then they reach out to them people and they, with them. But when it comes to we all want to make name, we all want to make, philanthropists. But for just 1 minute, 1 hour, then we disappear. Yes, I mean, somebody, I think he talks, say, why the civil society there, the time when they expect them for talk, they're not they talk. Not to everybody they cough, they expect some credible civil society for talk. When any major issue happen in this country, we take on the issue. So issues and they happen, we cannot issue out press release, but we take a phone. I mean, a time ago, I think I discussed on this program, when they kill Sierra Leoneans, now one place where they call Jopo Farm, over 7 people lost their life. Soldier man, then they kill people then for land. Now when we organization take a phone, talk to the CDF and also the ONS, then be able to put a stop and end, a final end to that. The people that will be there around that area, they not be comfortable. But we don't put on press release. But we're able to solve the situation. So sometimes not a press release, they work. Sometimes we take a phone or we write a letter. And the good thing about we letters that we don't exchange with, department and for investigate corruption or this, that, or for correcting, for clarifying. We don't one day say on social media. So some people, they don't even know we letterhead. Because we don't even put we press release on we letterhead. But we get your unique way how we did one.
Okay, this other caller be called and ask about that Padema Road issue.
Yes, good. So we be asked the vice president when the president be put in charge of that. We asked him twice. Waiting at the status on the investigation with them put. And we will also request that they set up an independent investigation body, not only government. Because the issue will happen within government and, the inmates then. So, the soldiers away we can't there for ease the situation. The police officer, they are all government agents. So they cannot put any bad report on themselves. But what if the government establish an independent investigation panel, bringing credible Sierra Leoneans from all walks of life, from the religious side, the civil society, for look into that and pull a report. Oh, forget about politics. What if they happen that faithfully, that be a national security threat against the state? And the state means we all citizens. So it's not about party, it's not about this. I mean, when you look at the whole situation, we get a very bad prison management system. Until we have to review, we don't already begin engage government on that. The prison management system needs a review. The facilities are not adaptable for human beings, and we structures them. First, then we set up that place for 332 people. Now we have over close to 2,000 people just the free time. Like Bo or Kenema, the last time we visit them side and by turn then they sleep. When they don't sleep for 2 hours, you grab them, the other man sleep. That attendant at Kenema. So we don't visit them facilities. When they talk about human rights issues, we have a first-hand evidence. Without evidence, we cannot share any story. So, I mean, we don't approach them with that. We don't send, a guidelines into them in other, the UN standard of, correctional center management and prison management facilities. So the current Internal Affairs Minister will get two proposals now. One for review the police, Act, the 1964. So we'll get a better structure for police. We will get a better welfare for police. We will get much respect now regards for police them. But we'll get a law we will protect who police them. We therefore get a law we will hold who police them accountable. We always hold who police them accountable. We don't look at their welfare. We don't care about their well-being. Also, then they leave. If some of them are going to police barrack, then they will really cry and feel sorry for. Yes, you will say them corrupt. Yes, you will say them this. I mean, but then we have to look out best for the welfare, for the well-being. Because when we dey inside, we houses them, and then they out there, they parade on the rain, on the sun, where crisis come, and then they did at the front line for ensure that say we safe. So if then they look for with safety, why we self not for consider about the welfare and safety? This is what human rights is about. We organization, I think we're notorious for criticizing the police, but we also good at talking about the welfare. That's how we create the balance, So I think I don't do justice.
Before I left you for go on this Pademba Road issue, it's taken like 64 days if one comes from that day where that incident happened, when a little over 2 months, and people and they will lost their life. And the families, they out there, I know say the investigation is still going on. But to me, I feel say the families out there, they still get a false hope for say them people and still they alive. That the one that will lost them people them, and then they hope say, oh, maybe is they alive, maybe not they alive. There is a time we will send the camera now one particular area where somebody where somebody talk where in Peking they na Pademba Road they say you don't even know himself because up to now you don't know if you Peking they alive or you Peking don't die. So we have a lot of people. Pademba Road is overcrowded. We all know that. So a lot of people, they inside there, and a lot of families, then they out there, where they go through certain phase, where I don't think, say, it's right for me, then go through, but investigation still say, then they go on. So how do we curtail this, make them people there, no say, the young people and they are alive, or these people there, not the one that would have lost the young people them?
Well, this come back, this go force me for repeat myself. Like I tell you, say, the best way we were able to forget fairness and trust. Government cannot ref their own game. You cannot be a player and a referee at the same time. Justice not go down to the game. The police the way and the soldiers the way go for rescue. For calm that situation. They are government agents. Soldiers, they work for government. They work on government instruction. The police work on government instruction. So other countries that waiting them can do. A senior judge experience and judge will then get respect for another country, or a retired judge, a civil society organization where they deal with right-based issue, where they know say the public get trust and credibility on. Now they want and then they put at the panel for do an independent investigation. So when they go through independent investigation and come up with a report, their findings and recommendations that in the government will work on, either for develop, an inquiry into the issue, would that then be responsible? And their life then they will don't lose. So the one that will be responsible will bear a greatest responsibility. That's not the accountability system, side of it. But then we get governments in and then they peg their investigation. They don't give you a time frame as to when this investigation will last. When you get in touch with even to the high peak of the investigation, the chairman, the one the lead investigation will tell you, say, we still there on the investigation, will not conclude yet. So cannot get to them, say, oh, Mr. Vice President, we say that 2 weeks will they take, that 3 weeks will they take. But then only get to the public and say, we will investigate this matter and get to it as soon as possible. Like you say, the lives that we lost, we as a human rights organization, we are concerned. The very incident, a huge concern to we as a breach to national security. If anything we go further than that, like this country for done in a different, situation. The individual they were lost their life, their family then deserve for know, what happened to them, picking them, and why they lost their life, on that very fateful day. And the one way they are alive. But let me give you a story about Panemba Road. Like I tell you, now be 332 people, then they make that place different. But now we get up to 2,000 people. Yeah, we got up to 2,000 people where did it. So you will just know, so will be meant for 332 to 2,000. So you didn't know that over crowded. And what thing they happen? People then they where they Panemba Road, some their relatives are not even know see then they Panemba Road. How? Somebody will go report somebody in a Central Police or Adelaide Street or Eastern Police or Kisi. When Kisi, Adelaide Street, Eastern Police, then don't full up. They don't get new fresh people then. Then they load the inside motorcar, then cow then this Panemba Road, CID headquarters by County 3 by State Avenue. So when they serve the youth full up, because they're very close to the prison, then they in prison they exchange inmate them. So they pull the detainees and from that side and they go there now straight to Panemba Road prison detention facility or the prison facility. So the police station where they go there, they don't pull and they force them. Don't go there na CID. So CID now not get record of them people then they, but na CID now they send them people then they to Panemba Road. So record not there for let anybody follow up. Congo Cross not get record. Maybe Congo Cross take somebody out on Adelaide Street. Adelaide Street take and go to CID. CID take and go to Panemba Road. That's how some people end up there. And some people then they wait for it to don't full up. Then don't see Kelema or Pudloko. They move some then Afritoya. They send them upline. So then they under they don't know. They know one day get George, Sunday 7 years we get to talk with them. So then they will don't free organization and make them don't get them freedom. Wait on 8 years, then they 7 years waiting. They say slap on a woman. So then the woman say, they go show and say, now then get the country. They go to the police. From police, then pass with her. And land at prison, spend 7 years just for slap. So we get a bitter thing in this country, for people. Them people grudge the way they boil down in people them for the social injustice where they take place. So even the call over way the government they put up like say the number of a particular month then go dedicate and say let them go to prison and call whether they will get case and not get case. One great judge go get over 200 people there for that 1 month. How you go do that? So you go end up deal with 50 or 60. Then the balance go back. So they have to wait probably for another 6 months for that opportunity for come back. We'll not get better magistrate then. We'll not get better judges than the last time we'll advocate for 24 judges who have been there at this country at against 7 million people. What do we say? We say rapidly the judiciary through the Chief Justice is able for hire more high court judges, and appoint people then at the appeals court back. So, like somebody been say, what's it going to make if government go listen? Yes, government listen. It depends on the credibility of the organization. So, I think, that's the thing there. I don't overdo 10 minutes.
I know say yes. I think we don't do justice. But when you be the talk just now, you talk about several cases them we get for do with embassies them inside Sierra Leone. So what's the matter with embassies them within a salon with all in kind tier where they come up for them? So we is it that they're immune to waiting up for honor we lost them inside the country, or waiting they go on we feel say because of themselves now from Obayanda sometime one way or the other donation can come in or help can come in, so we can get them leeway against the citizens them, or waiting you make up of all this?
Me you make up, they're all with foreign organizations, they all help for exploit with country weak labor law system. Because the last time we do a proper labor law in this country in 1972. You get me? That is the last time we do a proper labor law for safety and other thing, compensation, the other one way we've been doing. Now on industrial related issues, how for set up unions, the one the way for be part of union, which union way superior, which one way this, that. So, that was it. But since government after government, we warred on government after government, and up to this government, we don't get no new labor law where they really protect all workers at this country. With the protect. So the embassies there, then they pay with workers there. Even the one the way they work for US embassy, now the big name, they may get money. The money they're very, very small. Like EU, they pay past them. You go to the British High Commission. Just imagine somebody go work in Germany for 17 years, then pay 19,000 euro. As a benefit, time benefit, that's ridiculous. 17 years for 19,000 euro, that's just ridiculous. Then the German laws say anybody wait for them, that a working place, because the working place get a responsibility by law, the safety of workplace. I just don't forget the legislation. But I began all the legislations when we want to engage the German embassy. So I make sure that we go through all of the German laws. And they're not immune to some of the laws, and because the very EU country, then I then say any subsidiary country within the EU go commit human rights violation outside country is subject to the law way then a home country. So Germany, they're part of EU. So they're not immune. They're going to be immune diplomatically for criminal laws, but civil law like this, they are not immune. So like we get an authority for taking matter, at the European Court of Human Rights, against the German embassy. So, but when they know that we step in now, they start complying. But the question where you ask, now exploitation of weak laws. They know say we get a very weak law, and so if you get a good lawyer, some of the cases the way you go and really challenge individuals and either the locals the way employ people that abuse their right to work, it cannot really suffice. So people exploit them, and so the foreign embassies as well exploit that. So you definitely get organizations that we get a gut, and fearless for challenging, to hell with us. at a global level. But when you abuse human rights, when you violate human rights, you should dance to the music. If then they fund money or let this country government not abuse human rights, why are they? And they left this country with the pretext say this country doing human rights abuse, but then your embassy they do the same thing. Alleged doing the same thing. Why?
Thank you very much, Abdul Fatoma, for your time. We know, say, we go way over time. We sorry, but now how the conversation go. And before we let you for go, we want to make say, even now, say network, we don't officially get a charity foundation. We don't get with 501c3, we don't get with exemption of tax exemption and all that thing, and then at the United States. So we are coming up small and see the changes we also can able bring inside Sierra Leone. What thing will be your last word for we?
All right, my very last word, as you can say, we may not like for say last word.
Your final statement for today. Your final statement for today, sir.
My final statement will be congratulating the network for doing a great job, a marvelous job, and then we definitely know see the network or the networking foundation will make a great difference. I mean, the first time I see that on news when I see, say when I donate, to people that are Waterloo community, and the beneficiaries them is so happy and pleased, with one gesture. So that was not an irony as well, at all not, because I know what you stand for as a man, your credibility and you believe in giving back to society. So what I go say, encourage more unions like institutions like yours. If they want the money for go the right place, they want for do charity work and get to certain beneficiaries, and let them donate directly to you. I strongly believe and get confidence in you. Say you will get a detailed report as to how you spend the money or buy. You don't do things and selflessly with your money. Look at the some of the programs the way this platform they do, like a cut on camera. The camera reach to you. Yeah, talk to the camera. When you talk to the camera, when you say they talk to the camera and make a land, several look at things and we mere attention of being able to the welfare of the wheelbarrow man then. How much then they go rent the wheelbarrow. The market women there. How really then they fare among themselves. Anytime you send those names to me, I take my time listen to them. They know the plan. And some of them, I take the action up. And some of them, when I discuss to lawmakers, policy makers, I bring those issues up and then promise we'll look into it. So these are great things. It doesn't mean that you don't have a AYV platform you don't have a SABC platform but you are doing a great work. They bring quality people, experience to different people that are around the world, So many people, you don't know how many people can come in England, America, and then they say, oh, I've been listening to AAA. So then the program will not know 1 week. Then some man say, wait, he come on, don't listen this program. If I spend 2 hours, they say they spend that 2 hours. If still say a long, they wait to 1 man sleep at the house, they put earpiece now there is. They say that they listen because they just want to follow, waiting I say. So I get happy about that. Then I appreciate you so much for creating that platform for me, for make I reach out to me people them. I'm for letting know the work with organization they do and letting know waiting genuinely they go on our country.
Thank you very much, Abdul Fatoma from Chadi, for your time, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Well, that's Nabi Abdul Fatoma. We go way over the time we promise and say we'll go take with Anaya, but now for the work. Al-Haji Selassie, he said he lost a very good friend by injustice. Nafgitong, he said, be falsely accused, and they say now go padimba with every time we appear in a court. There's no jury and he ended up back in jail. He say he be did it for almost 3 years until the day he lost in life. He says, I don't need to do better with the judiciary system. Indeed, we need to do better. The criminal libel law where people in the island for no more. You way Abdul Fatoma break and down small, eh? We tell we because the total law they be there now one party states. They don't want nobody for gather. We gather them feel say the same way for make waiting una can't pull in a power. Remember when police can tell you say, they don't want you need for go take clearance first to them. Now then they give you, then get for access first waiting say who side then they quote 1965. So when we say our constitution, our rights, you know they change so no more. Yeah, waiting Fatoma don't say. So if we want change, we got to make the change happen. The link for that is still there on. Inside network, the charity is still there on. So it's up to us. For make we choose the kind salon we want for left for we picking them. And then we can always say naya. But still it left to we for make we choose that kind salon day. Tomorrow we're gonna have a very hot topic naya. Hey, people they don't pack. I really pack. So I'll make you come tomorrow and ready. But not come with your political glasses or political mind. Oh. No. And I'll make you come with them. I don't know why we can fit to yourself. Even today in the comment section on Facebook, people and they go at one another, even at one time we'll begin for block somebody. Eh? Why? Hey, God help Salon. We'll go there back tomorrow. Till we meet again. Till police say, tata.